Hi everyone, my name is Olivia. Welcome to my channel, the omb.frequency. OMB being my initials and the frequency of the universe. So she's branded with the journey. Today I am a channeler, a writer, an uncontrollable creator, a creative doula. And today I'm going to be doing a collective reading for mutable signs. This will be for rising and moon and sun if you're feeling it. This can be sidereal or tropical astrology. I've mostly been into sidereal astrology, but because it's the sign, it's up to you. Mutable signs are signs that end the season. So Pisces ends winter, Sagittarius ends the fall, Gemini ends the spring, and Virgo ends the summer. And so these are very it's energy of it's mutable energy is very mutable. It's when the movement, after we got the initiating sign of cardinal signs, fixed signs kind of maintain the season and are real fixed in the season energy. Mutable signs prepare for the movement and transformation into the next season. When I was sitting with the energy of mutable signs, so with the cardinal signs, it was a lot of everything, being very concerned with what was happening on the external. But with mutable signs, I got more of an internal energy. And so it wasn't necessarily concerned with what was happening on the outside. I got a lot of heart chakra energy, like my heart, like a lot of heart energy, a lot of being tired and pain in the shoulders, blocks in the throat, but not much mental energy. And then I also got a lot of energy around with the heart chakra, just love energy, blushing and smiling and I don't know, it felt good. Mutable energy, it felt pretty good. Besides the pain in the shoulders just had me feeling thinking having the world on your shoulders. Having the world on your shoulders, throat blockages, and just being tired. And then big heart chakra. It was heart chakra, started in the heart and just went all through the arms. Yeah, anyway. That was mutable. So let's get started. But yeah, I like this energy. I've only done the cardinal signs. And that was a lot of frustration with the external world. That was mirroring frustration in the internal world. But this one, mutable signs, you seem to be doing a lot of more in the body. It was way more in the body. The body was reacting a lot. Immediately it was the heart, then the throat, then the arms, and then, but not so much in the head, in the mind. And then I just got really happy. So fuck with it. Let's see what the cards are saying. Mutable signs. If you would like to book a reading with me, all the information is in the description box. My TikTok is there. My Instagram is there. And that's where you can DM me and hit me up for a reading. My prices and everything is on my Instagram. And yeah. Okay. Okay. So we've got the lily, which is wisdom and peace and maturity, sensuality, sexuality, inner security, relaxation. We got the woman, which can be you. If you're a woman, it can also just be feminine energy. Or like, yeah, feminine energy. Creative energy. If you want to think of it as, if you identify as a woman, it could be you. You identify as like a femme, it could be you. If you identify as someone with that moves in a lot of like feminine energy, it could be you. Vice versa, if you don't identify with those things, it could be someone in your life that does. And then we've got the ship, which is travel and movement, which, mutable signs make sense. It's a journey of some kind, which may be emotional or spiritual, as well as physical. Some foreign element or influence. Okay. And then the Empress came out. Oh, someone's in love. Someone's in love? In love and lust? A journey of love? A journey of lust? A journey of embracing feminine energy? Sexual journey? Moving sexual energy to a woman, to a feminine person, to a femme, to a empress. Let me go back to the lily. Feminine, moving in feminine wisdom. Maybe moving into feminine wisdom, moving into maybe someone is maturing on their sexual, like, maturity, moving a journey of like maturity when it comes to like sex, sensuality, and sexuality. Having like being at peace with their sexual and sensual journey, and maybe feeling at peace with the movement they've had in their sexual and sensual energy. All of those things take what it is. But even before, I was getting lots of like love energy, lots of like heart energy, chills, blushing. So yeah, a lot of like sensuality and sexuality and the Empress is that like sensual, sexual maturity, I guess. What's at the bottom? At the bottom is the letter. So movement and communication. The letter kind of is like reverse, so needing to like communicate. Yeah, the Page of Pentacles. Is a seed to be planted, is something to be offered, some seed to be planted and offered, because the Empress is a lot of like Taurus energy. This is a lot of like Taurus energy. And so this like energy of like fertility and planting seeds, and you've got the flowers, and you've got the Page of Pentacles is like seed energy. Planting a seed, offering like an offering of some kind. Pentacles is about behavior. And so behavior could be related to the letter. I didn't show the cards, but we've got the lily. It's a white lily. We've got the woman. And there's something else around here about purity, because we've got a white lily, which is giving like purity energy. We've got her head's being covered, so it could be energy of like purity and like modesty. Then we've got the ship, which is movement. Then we've got the Empress, who is wearing red or wearing white, and she's got like a bunch of fruit on her. So it's just very sensual energy, very sensual, very sexual, very fertile, very Venusian. And then we got the Page of Pentacles. And then we've got the dove, which again is more like white purity. So this could also be like a spiritual like no. This is pretty physical. Which I mean they're always connected. So it could be like let's see. At the bottom we have the star, which the cardinal signs had star at the bottom too. So yeah, there's a lot of hope in the air. Someone hopes to be in love or hopes to communicate about love or give some offering to love, which that sounds like every other fucking reading that I've been watching. Like, it's getting ridiculous. The same story, hearing the same story over and over again, but it is what it is, and it is what it is. Oh, and look at the bottom. We have the Queen Mother, the Empress again. Definitely some movement towards or into in collaboration with feminine energy. Mutable signs. In communication with. And speaking of movement, we have the, hold on, let me pull up. 20. Okay, so we've got so we've got all of that, the alchemy of the situation. We've got the 8 of Gourds reversed. So when we're talking about this movement happening into feminine energy in collaboration with feminine energy, communicating to feminine energy, or or towards feminine energy, offering something towards, which, I mean, like, that's what you do. I mean, like, feminine energy is the more like receptive space. And so maybe it's like pouring into your creative self, or it could be another person. It depends on how, I'm gonna take it how you need. But either way, if you know how to pour into your own feminine energy, then you'll know how to appreciate the other people's, I guess. But anyway, the 8 of Gourds is reversed. And so this is like stagnation, fear, abandonment, failure, unhealthy attachments. The 8 of Gourds is the moment when you it can either be a moment where you're looking, like, you know, he's like looking at what's in front of him and what needs to go. And either it's looking at what needs to go and picking and choosing, or it's just getting rid of everything. Whatever's happening is not working anymore. Channels are blocked, which I was feeling throat chakra blocks. This is here we deal with loss, but unlike the 5 of Gourds, which leaves us with something to hold on to, the 8 of Gourds say, leave it all behind. So there's something to like leave behind and move towards something else. And then the next card we have is the 7 of Gourds reverse, which is confusion, fog, illusion, debauchery, indecision. And the 7 of Gourds can be self-harm. The 7 Gourds can be filled with like substances, habits. And this is another thing that came up in the cardinal sign, because it is like moving into sidereal Virgo season. And we just got out of Virgo season. It's kind of looking at different habits and choices, decisions being made. And are they for our good, or are they for like self-harm, things that that kind of allow us to numb and disappear from our bodies. And so I guess that's why I was feeling like the mutable signs, like getting into your body and actually feeling the body, feeling, you know, your throat out, and feeling your heart, and feeling the feelings, and just letting feel the feelings, because it doesn't hurt anything. Feeling the feelings can be uncomfortable. The ego doesn't like it, but it doesn't hurt, you know. It's it doesn't hurt on the physical level, you know. Of course the brain tries to tell us pain is pain, but The Eight of Gourds always reminds me, this is reminding me a lot about like desire, and it would be helpful to read Audre Lorde's The Power of the Erotic. There's a need like getting into desire in the body, because the body, when we're dealing with situations where that are difficult and not working anymore, and we're frustrated with where we are, and we're looking at like just tossing everything out and moving on, and like getting into new space and getting into new, moving forward into new spaces. All this feminine energy could be accessing the parts of our desire.
Yeah.
And Audre Lorde talks about this deep feminine space. It's deep feminine wisdom to be able to sit in your body and say, this doesn't feel good. Something doesn't feel good, or it doesn't, just accessing different, the aspect, what am I saying? Accessing desire, because we live in a world of like pornography, and we live in a world where we're told to just like be in our minds, be in our ration, be in our logic, and be on like autopilot to get shit done, to move, you know, to work, and to be um, machines that labor for the whole. It's capitalism, you know. We're taught to just like get out of our bodies so that we can numb, and so that we can move forward with our lives and do what we need to do what we need to do what we should do what is the respectable thing to do what is the um the logical and the reasonable thing to do the thing that makes sense to do. But if we, the more that we do that, the more we get into this Eight of Gourds. It's getting into this Eight of Gourds space where you're just like the frustration that builds up. And the Eight of Gourds is the point when, yeah, the frustration builds up, and you're looking at all the gourds being filled with, maybe with things that you don't even want. And the Seven of Gourds, these Seven of Gourds are filled with, the Eight of Gourds is looking at what, all the frustrations and all the things that you want to throw out and like just leave behind. And then the Seven of Gourds reversed is kind of like um how you cope with sitting with those eight gourds. And so all the numbing, all the escapism, all the ways that we like leave our bodies, all the ways that we like leave our bodies and abandon our feelings and abandon our throats and our hearts and abandon all the like joyful feelings and the frustration and the anger that lets us know what actually matters to us, that lets us know what we desire. Yeah. And tapping into desire is a way of tapping into your very specific role, which makes me think of this quote from Neil deGrasse Tyson on this card for Papa Blade. I have a personal philosophy in life. If somebody else can do something that I'm doing, they should do it. And what I want to do is find things that would represent a unique contribution to the world, the contribution that only I and my portfolio of talents can make happen. Those are my priorities in life. And we can't get into those priorities in life and those things that are our unique contribution, our unique being, if we're not tapped into our desire. Papa Blade is energy of cardinal fire and air. It's like a hot air balloon that's rising to the sky. And so it's like you can either it's like the Eight of Gourds is like being so, either being so weighed down. It's like the balance that's needed in a hot air balloon to have the right mental energy, the right energy of like the right fire energy, so that you're not just like up in the clouds, disconnected from your body and just numbing. And so with all this earth, with all this like the Empress and the Page of Pentacles, and we've got the Nine of Coins at the bottom, and the Lily, there's a need to like ground into the body and ground into the senses, because that's going to tell you exactly what needs to go. It's something, and this is something that I was talking to a friend who's actually a Gemini the other day. Like, if you're with someone or in a situation and it doesn't feel good, if you don't feel good in that space, in that situation, in that relationship, in that environment, then that's it. Like, that is the wisdom that you need to know how you feel about something, and maybe how somebody feels about you. Or, it doesn't have to be this, especially if you're way too into your head or you're way too disconnected from your body, you can overlook the important information that feelings give you. And it'd be too easy to just overlook yourself to continue with something that doesn't need to. Keep going. So Papa Blade teaches us to ride the clouds of our mind and intuition. He teaches us not to dwell too long, over analyzing and creating confusion. It's fine to listen to both sides of an argument, but our actions should be fueled by objectivity. When the Nine of Coins and the Page of Pentacles, like, it's just so much earth energy where it's like getting into behaviors, getting into the body, getting into the letter, which is communication, getting into the ship, which is movement, getting into the lily, which is senses and sensuality, getting into the emotions, and letting that give you information on what needs to go, and where you need to go. And yeah, when you're doing that, there's no need to, like, the mind is important, but the mind is important, but it can also be like, I didn't feel a lot of like mental energy in the beginning, but yeah, over analyzing and going back and forth between, oh, should I keep it? Should I let it? Should I leave it? And this is why I think this alchemy of this situation is the Eight of Gourds and the Seven of Gourds, because there's too much, like, the Eight of Gourds is a clear indication of leave it, like, leave it. There doesn't have to be an explanation. There doesn't have to be, you don't have to like explain your senses and intuition. You don't have to there doesn't have to be logic and reason to it. It can literally be, especially getting into the feminine realm and understanding the feminine realm, feminine space that is inside of us. It's that part that doesn't need to know, doesn't have to think about it. It's very connected to the body and the instinct and the intuition. I don't want to do this because I don't want to do it. Because when I think about doing it, I don't feel good. When I do it, it doesn't feel good. I don't feel good after I do it. I don't feel good talking to you. I don't feel good when you call me. I don't feel good when we're in communication. I don't feel good in this space. I don't want to. Period. This has also been something that I've been dealing with. Like, it can be a sort of like a trauma response to constantly over explain your intuition. If you know, you know, and you know, and nobody else is going to know, because like Neil deGrasse Tyson said, it's a personal, unique contribution to the world. Nobody else is supposed to know except you. So if you don't know, and you're doing all these things to numb and to not know, then who's supposed to know? Okay. I'm lecturing to myself right now as well, because I don't know. I do know. I do know. Because who else is supposed to know? And we got the book, which is knowledge. Hold on. We got XXVI. XXV. Okay, we got the book, which is knowledge. Knowing the right thing in the wrong time is dangerous. Please understand the necessity of trusting spirit to reveal to you what you need to know presently. You may be very eager to learn as much as possible in as little possible time. What others have kept from you from knowing kept you at their mercy, but that is not what the ancestors do. Don't confuse those who benefit from your ignorance with those who have invested their lives into saving yours. If asking the same question in divination isn't garnering the answers you seek, it's time to step back and ask, ancestors, what do you need for me to know right now? So, yeah, knowledge, this type of knowing what you need to know right now, will be presented to you right now in your body. The ancestors speak to you in your senses, in your body, in the present moment. So paying attention to the present moment, paying attention to the information that you receive in your body in the present moment. So when you answer that phone from that person when you answer your phone and the person and the relationship that you're in with the person on the other line makes you feel a certain way, that's information that's being given to you. And that's what you need to know in that moment. I don't feel good talking to you. I don't want to talk to you. And it doesn't have to come with explanation. And trusting spirit to reveal to you what others have kept you from knowing, kept you at their mercy. And so a lot of times when we're around, we learn to disregard our emotions from people who don't want you to know. They want, like, we've dealt with trauma around like dealing with people who try to take advantage of you, or like people who will try to impose their own knowing on you. And where it's not, we can be sort of like taught and coerced, and we can sort of like numb from our body so that it's easier to not know what we need to know. But I guess this card is like saying, when it comes to your ancestors, don't confuse those who benefit from your ignorance with those who have invested their lives into saving yours. So there's a lot of people around you who won't want you to know what you know based on what you know in your body to know and your intuition to know. But ancestors will communicate to you in the present moment. They'll communicate in your senses and what you see, feel, hear, what you taste and touch. Very sensual, getting into that feminine wisdom. You know, you always say like there's this idea like women are crazy. Women get over emotional and they're crazy, which when it really can also be seen as like just being tapped into knowing that's not rational or logical and doesn't have to make sense, but it's sensed. So yeah, what do you need to know right now? And that could be a practice to like get into your body to know what you need to know, and just being in the body. And then we've got the cross, which is boundaries. Listen. That's another thing. Boundaries. You can't know your boundaries if you're not connected to your body, because your boundaries will be told in your body. When something happens and you're like, I don't like how that feels, the boundary needs to be placed up either with yourself or with another person. Boundaries. The cross says establishing a relationship with ancestors is fundamental, but putting your needs last is stupid. Establish and be ready to enforce healthy boundaries in your spiritual relationships the way you should be doing in all your relationships, because you should value yourself and the gift of your life enough to believe that. Your dead don't want you to spend the life they paid for being miserable and meek. Have you been voicing your needs? Are you projecting your abandonment trauma onto your ancestors for fear they'll leave you if you act too needy or too aggressive? Are you scared they'll judge you? They may clown you, but never forget this is supposed to be a healthy, loving relationship. And a relationship like that doesn't leave you feeling depleted or small. Your loving ancestors are just as flawed and capable of compassion as you are. They were human, too. This card asks that you look at where you need to be setting better boundaries in all of your relationships. Others might not be as ride or die as ancestors, but baby, that just means they never deserved you. Period. So yeah. Yeah. And I guess it could be a practice, like if you can't like go to the other person necessarily, share your emotions. It's important to have a space with ancestors or an altar, or like your ancestors are also just in your body. So just like tapping into your emotions while giving yourself a safe space to get mad about what you're mad about, to get sad about what you're sad about, and just express your emotions and be in your body. I'm gonna get one of these cards and then be finished. But yeah, I like it. I like it, Mutable Signs. It's very sensual. Okay. I like this card. And you see how I've never seen this card before, but I immediately saw it and started smiling because I like the card. Because that's how I'm feeling when I see the card. So just tapping into the immediate reaction to things. I have no reason to like this card. I've never even seen it in this deck before. But Ascended Master Kuthumi and Moss Agate. Sacred Ecosystem. Did I show you? I don't know. We bring you the blessing of the sacred ecosystem. This is a gift of conscious connection, supportive relationship, and magnetism, which attracts you to the souls in need of your light. Where you once may have felt as though you were not in the right place, this blessing shall now rectify that. You are meant to belong and contribute, and that goes to the energy of movement. Feeling like you're not in the right place it's that feeling and the movement to the right place. You are meant to belong and contribute freely to your true soul community. You are destined to feel as though you have found your way home and can attract and be attracted to those that can support you and benefit from your support too. As you let go of past rejection of the belief you have to accomplish your divine life mission on your own or fight to have your place in the world, you will allow the power of the sacred ecosystem to transform your life. Your life purpose shall flourish, and your experience of conscious connection with the world around you will heal your heart and soothe your soul. There is an exquisite intelligence to divine design, a way for every aspect of every being to be made to serve the great plan of love. It tells a story about this, like there was a cracked pot and it would leak water along the pathway whenever they would go carry water. Then there was another pot that wasn't cracked, and the cracked pot thought something was wrong with it and thought its flaws were bad. And then he's talking to a cracked pot. He says to the cracked pot, "What do you see?" And the cracked pot replies, "I see flowers." And then, those flowers came from watering the flowers every day with the cracked pot. So, yeah. A sacred ecosystem. And again, this is a lot of like I was saying, a lot of like plant energy, because even the 9 of coins at the bottom of this is about like someone standing in a garden, someone standing in like the harvesting the fruits of their labor. The Empress Pentacle page of like all of this green imagery, the lily, the Page of Pentacles, the sacred ecosystem, which is yeah, it's just like there's so many different ecosystems to be a part of. And when you think about nature and like it doesn't have to make sense to a bird why they decide at a certain time of the year they need to go south. They just know where they need to be. Um, so this is very like instinctual and like intuitive wisdom, feminine wisdom, earth wisdom, knowing where you need to be and trusting that you know where you need to be because of a sense. Birds don't think about it. Like animals don't think about it or like have conversations and with other species like, but do you do this? If you don't do this, I don't know if I should do, like, no, they do it because it's in their nature. So be a cracked pot. So yeah, this card continues to just talk about if you feel like you stepped out of a story or a world into a completely different story or world, these are just signs that you're evolving into a new sacred ecosystem. Being transplanted. So yeah, that's what I have for the mutable signs. Thank you for tuning in. If you want a reading with me, it's 4444 on the timer. Hit me up. Thanks, y'all.